So on this week's episode of Be More Super, the podcast, we've got another great guest from the amazing Netflix show Warrior Nun. It's Jack Mullarkey. Jack, welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
You know what? It is an absolute pleasure, and you're the second Irishman I've had on the show ever.
What?
Yeah, the first one was Timothy Murphy. And he was absolutely lovely. It was great. So it's nice to have another Irishman on the show, which is great. So I want to say, first of all, congratulations on season 2 of Warrior Nun. I've got a slide here that I want to just put up to let all the fans see, and all the critics and everything like that. Literally the highest rated show ever on Netflix history, in their history, 100% Rotten Tomatoes. I just think is fantastic. I mean, when you saw this get announced, what were your thoughts about the show being received so well?
I honestly, like, from working with the crew, like the stunt team and everybody in the VFX department and everyone else, like, and then obviously the cast, I wasn't that surprised because the work and dedication that went in was top drawer. You know, I mean, I didn't think we'd break records, but I knew that we'd pack a punch in that regard. You know, I was happy to see it.
Oh, it's just awesome to see as well because, you know, with the amount of content out there, like literally we are drowning in content from all the different streaming platforms and TV and the cinema. So it's really nice for something actually to get, you know, celebrated like this when you can clearly see, as you said, the amount of work that's gone into it, and off screen and on screen. It's just absolutely incredible. So before we dive into Warrior Nun and a bit about you and your start in your career, the last 2 years have been quite challenging, to say the least. Lots of ups and downs. How have you kept positive and moving forwards during the last 2 years with everything going on?
Well, during the pandemic, I was in between. I was like living in London and living in America. So I came home and I kind of lived with my family for a while. So that was quite a nice experience to rekindle my relationship with my family and, you know, my dog and everything like that and stuff like that. So that was lovely. And then just going for walks with friends and then like going back to basics. Like a lot of friends in the acting business, they kind of packed it in, you know, but then there was a few of us, we stuck together and we said, look, let's give this a good go, you know. So we had a lot of Zoom classes together. We did like Shakespeare together and we would watch movies together and stuff like that. But it was, I suppose it was just taking it day to day, really, wasn't it? You know?
And I had to talk to my wife, which was great. You know, I watched. I don't know if you know comedian Ramesh. He's an amazing comedian. He's got a special on Netflix at the moment, and he does a piece on.
Excuse me. Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and he did an amazing piece about the pandemic and how like he had to spend time with his wife, and me and my wife just looked at each other, like thinking, do we agree? But you know what? It was lovely because I've got 2 small girls. So for me, it was nice to have that time. But I was working all the way through the pandemic and so was my wife. So we were kept busy. But what was the biggest lesson that you took out of all that madness, you know, after the 2 years?
Perspective, because I didn't lose my business. I didn't lose my house. You know, I had a tight friend group and my family around me and I was doing what I loved. So that was a big lesson I took. Like, and just kindness goes so far. It's like, it's really not a major chore. So I would say definitely perspective on life and realizing how lucky I am.
Yeah, and you say kindness. I mean, it doesn't take much effort to be kind. I think it takes more effort to be horrible and thoughtless. But the pandemic definitely split us into 2. We saw the positive and we saw the negative. And as long as we come out of it in a positive way and we appreciate, everything around us, definitely, it's like a giant reset button on humanity. It really is. So let's talk about your acting. So this is one of the most competitive industries. one of those industries that have got so many ups and downs. So why choose this industry and not a 9 to 5 job?
I was a rugby player, so maybe I got too many bangs to the head, and I thought it was a viable option. But it's funny you say 9 to 5. I had no interest. When I was leaving school, I wanted to do like history or maybe physiotherapy or something like that. But I had no interest in the 9 to 5, and I had no interest in growing up in that regard. So one of my best friends actually suggested, why don't you try acting or something like that? And I was too kind of embarrassed to admit it to myself, like, oh, maybe not, maybe not. So then I tried like a Friday night class, and I was like, people do this and they get paid? Like, this is like a viable career. So I always had a great love for cinema and things like that. So I went to an acting college and discovered theatre, and I suppose here I am, you know.
And then, we often see actors on screen like yourself doing what you do best, and we often forget the amount of commitment that it takes to be where you are. And what I mean about commitment is the training. So you went to the Gaiety School of Acting, and I want to give them a shout out, because without these schools we wouldn't get these wonderful actors like yourself on the screen doing what you do best. So the question is, how prepared did you feel leaving the Gaiety School of Acting, and what did you take away from all the training, and what was it like going there? You could say whatever you like.
I won't get cancelled or anything by the college. I was a young man. I think I was 18, on the cusp of 19. So I was still kind of discovering myself. So I kind of, I was a bit all over the place, but I definitely found the training necessary. And it was a disciplined training. Like if you were 2 minutes late for the warm up in the morning, like you're gone, that's it. And you kind of had to abide by that and all this kind of stuff. But in terms of preparation, I had a wonderful voice teacher in my second year of college who introduced me to Shakespeare. I hated Shakespeare. I thought it was so boring, so irrelevant. And then he explained it to me, like reading the phone book, and I fell in love with it, and it became like a central element of my training. But we were taught in college to expect nothing, which sounds kind of depressing, but like, you don't set yourself up for failure. You go out, you make your own work, you like make it happen for yourself. So I definitely felt a little bit prepared for the outside world, but truly nothing can prepare you for the abyss that is the acting industry,
And
but, yeah.
Shakespeare is one of those things that I can remember doing a piece of repertory theatre, because I did acting and I went into performing arts because of a stutter. So I found that when I was reading a script or singing a song, my stutter didn't come out, which was great. And I did Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead.
Guildenstern.
Yeah.
That's
And
Guildenstern, yeah.
and it was all questions. It was like question with a question.
Mhm.
And that was the hardest thing I have ever had to do, is remember the whole script. And I remember I put pieces around the stage to remind me of and it was just the hardest thing, but it's the most beautiful thing as well, to perform. And I think that we don't see enough of it on stage. I mean, I was watching an interview with Louis Theroux with Dame Judi Dench.
Yes.
And she is just amazing when she does Shakespeare. She did, was it the male Macbeth? And, I saw a clip of that, and it's just fantastic. I mean, what's your favourite Shakespeare play and part?
I'm very a boring man. I have to say Hamlet. It is the greatest for a reason. I was in a production of it, but I have to say I do love the histories. I love Henry V. But if you had to put a gun to my head, I think I'd say Hamlet or the Scottish play for sure, definitely.
And I love the fact that when my kids are naughty, I turn into a Shakespearean actor. I will go hence and avoid thy sight. If thy banner's trunk be found in thy dominions, the moment is thy death. And they look at me and go, "What, Daddy?" And then they just run off. And it works. It's great. So any parents out there, try it. turns Shakespearean. It will confuse the hell out of them. So when starting out in this industry, did you or do you have a plan in place of where you want to get to? That's either working with certain people, winning certain awards, achieving certain goals.
I think my plan at the time, and I think my plan still, is just to work with the best people in their line of work, to work with the best actors, the best directors, the best lighting designers, the best, script supervisors, like to be at that professional level, where we're like making history here, like in terms of like awards and validation, of course, that's, I wouldn't turn my nose up to that, but like you have to pursue it for more than just that, to say like for people in 100 years time to look back and say he was there and he had something to say, I think that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
And we all have our heroes in the industry. So who do you look up to as your hero that you would feel complete one day if you could share the screen or the stage with a certain actor?
Oh my God. I would love to share the stage with Tristan from Warrior Nun, actually, just as you say that. But during my college times and stuff like that, I kind of fell in love with the great storytellers like Richard Harris and Richard Burton and Peter O'Toole. And then obviously I fell in love with Judi Dench and Heath Ledger and Andrew Scott and these actors who were just chameleons, and they could just do it like that. Like it kind of changes every day, but I would look anyone in the cast of Warrior Nun, I would love to share the stage with, basically. I'll do it.
That's funny actually you said about Tristan, because I've just actually sent out an invitation because I'd love to have him on the show for a chat, because his character in the show is just great, and his character arc is going back and forth. So it'd be great to have him on the show. So what's been the biggest obstacle that you've faced, because we all think that it's all glamour, it's all easy, we see you on screen and that's it, but what's the biggest obstacle that you've faced in the profession so far?
That's a very good question. I think avoiding the noise of the kind of the toxic element of the industry, I think, and then just getting out of my own way, leaving my ego at the door, and like not taking rejection personally, particularly like in the audition room. Like you are selling a product, and if they don't like it, that's okay, so just staying away from the noise, just doing it for the love of it, and that's really it, I suppose.
and that's got to be one of the hardest things, because as an actor, you bear your heart and soul, performing on screen or on stage, and you're open to criticism, critique. But as long as you love what you do, and you obviously are doing very well for yourself, because again, you're in Netflix highest rated scored show in history. So you obviously are doing something fantastic. But what's the best thing about your profession? What's the best thing about being an actor?
Catering. All that good food. Definitely. Oh God, what's the best thing? I think, what's that quote, the German painter, he said, art is the highest form of hope. To be an artist is to be a hopeful person. And I think I was listening to a TED Talk yesterday. This woman was talking, she was an actress, talking about her mother dealing with cancer. And she said, scientists do their best to prolong life, whereas artists make life worth living. I think that's a beautiful quote. Like, it's such we make these incredible little families in each project we join, and we bare our souls to each other, and we drink and like read poetry and all this kind of stuff. But it's 4:00 in the morning. I'm in Madrid in a church hitting people with Bibles. You gotta love that, It's so bizarre, but you gotta love it,
But I think as well, being an actor in your profession, you're a storyteller. You're someone that can offer an escape, for a certain amount of time, and welcome audiences into a world that's not their own. And sometimes that is a magical thing, because the way life is at the moment and how stressful and things could be happening at home, it's nice to escape from that, which is great. I mean, I'm very thankful for Warrior Nun and quite a few shows, because sadly I lost my dad not long ago. So for me, it's sort of losing myself for that period of time, just to get my mind off things and just to relax. And shows like Warrior Nun has been absolutely fantastic for that, because it's just fantastic. It really, really is. So let's talk about Warrior Nun, because again, it's just an awesome show. If you could tell all the lovely viewers and listeners whom you play and a bit about the show in your own words.
So I play the character of Miguel, who is a mysterious individual who shows up to Ava and kind of entices her to join this cause, this Samaritan cause against Adriel and his scam religion. And he is a character who you will see over the course of the show has a very, very big secret. And it will be revealed.
Do you know what? When I wanted you on the show, I thought to myself, what could we go into? Because the thing is, for people that haven't seen it, they need to watch it. And I try and encourage everyone that I see to watch it, because it's just great, writing, great acting, everything's great about the show. But then your character, there's lots of twists and turns, and it's just fantastic. I'm just looking at my questions now, because I'm thinking about all the twists and turns of your character. It's awesome. So this show is an enormous fan following. It really, really has. So why, from your point of view, do you feel that this show resonates with so many fans?
Oh my God, that's a good question. Besides the incredible cast and stunt crew and VFX and the camera crew, everyone else, I think you're taking an institution like the church, and you're subverting it in a way that you're centering people who were traditionally oppressed by the church, like women, people of color, and gay people. And the show has a young following, and young people know more than any generation the impact the church has had on their parents' generation and their grandparents' generation. So you're taking something that was traditionally inaccessible to kids and or to young people, and showing them that it is accessible. Traditional stories, these religious tales that have been told time and time again, but you're putting characters in that we can all relate to. We can see ourselves in the young female lead, in the girl of color, in the gay character. It's championing the oppressed in a very badass way, So I think I think that's why.
And it's great to have so many fans, campaigning, which we'll talk about at the end, for a possible season 3. So what attracted you to the role of Miguel? What was it about the role of the character that you thought, I've got to go for this?
He was the manner in which he was written. They sent me 3 scenes to do, and they broke down the character, and he said he is this mysterious character. He starts off as this kind of Che Guevara-esque Samaritan, he's all for revolution and all this kind of stuff. And as the story is told and his secrets are revealed, he becomes a very hardened, reserved young man, kind of a Kyle Reese almost, So there was such mystery to him, and there was such an arc to him, and I don't know if we can get into spoilers yet, or you know, about
Yeah,
the character.
listen away, or yeah, fast forward. You can talk about
Fast
anything you
forward.
want, Jack, because in all fairness, literally so many people have watched it, and I just think the character arc that you've got and what happens in the show was very much unexpected. I think the way that they wrote it, I wasn't expecting it. So when it
Mm.
happened, I was like, "What?" I just thought it was awesome.
So I'll say it now. Spoilers, spoilers. So Miguel is Michael from the first season, and that discovering that was so fantastic because I was like, who is this character? Like, where is this going? And then met Simon, and he was like, "You're Michael." I was like, "Oh my god!" So going through that hoop of the first act of the show, like the first kind of 4 episodes, it's him reserving, and then finally he says, I have to show my true identity." And like those scenes with Tekla are so well written,
Mm.
and she's such an incredible actress that like that mother son relationship is just there's very little acting required. I'll say that
Mm.
much.
And
So
had you watched season one before, or when you were going for the role? Did you watch it, and were you a bit like Mina? Because Mina said that she watched 1 episode and then it turned into 2 episodes. Then it told it
the exact same.
went in straight into the whole season.
I was the exact same because they sent on the audition and they said, if you want to be familiar with the show, season 1 is on Netflix. So I was like, okay, yeah, like I'll watch it. I'll see what it's like, get a tone for it. Turned it on and I was like, okay, I think I know the tone. I think I know where this is going, but I might just see what's happening in the next episode. And then I think I like sat down for about 4 hours and I didn't get off the chair. I just watched it and I was like, this is really, really good, But it's so funny because it's kind of bad. On my last, well, 2 auditions. So my final audition, the Zoom audition, I was watching the last episode and I had about 10 minutes left. And I was like, oh God, I have to go up, I have to prepare. And then did the audition, blah, 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 was fine. And then I went downstairs, put on the last 10 minutes, and then it's young Michael going through the portal. And I was like, oh my God,
Key piece.
me, that's me. I was like, oh God, but look, I got the job, so it's fine.
And did you feel, because obviously you must have seen the amount of backing from the fans for season one, did you feel any level of responsibility, or did you think, oh dear, I've got to do a really good job because this show has got so much of a fan base?
I felt a huge responsibility to the fan base because of the work they did, like how much they spoke about the first season and got the second season up on its legs. So like there was like, when you're having a rough day, you're kind of going, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, like I haven't eaten, I haven't slept, and like I have to do a big scene. You kind of have to go do it for them. Do it for somebody who needs this show, who needs that escape you were talking about. Do it for them. Someone will always need to watch this. So, get on with it. But I definitely felt we have to deliver here, definitely.
And you certainly did. And you get the role. What sort of preparation do you do as an actor, and what preparation did you do to get into the mindset of Miguel / Michael?
/ Michael. It was, I think it was like a week. I got a phone call on Monday morning. They were like, yeah, you're flying like on Sunday
Oh,
to
wow.
Spain for 5 months. I was like, okay, great. So we went out a month before shooting, a lot of us, and we began stunt training. We began personal training sessions. So Miguel / Michael, he was described fighting wise as sort of an Indiana Jones. He could take a punch, but he wasn't as skilled as, let's say, Beatrice or Ava. Like he just gets the crap kicked out of him, basically, but he can take a punch. So we would practice that, and we practiced with the incredible stunt team. Like I can't actually say that enough. We would do that, and then we had like readings over Zoom. But also when I arrived, like it was literally like pandemic times, like car, hotel, directly to the room for like a 8-day quarantine, I think it was. And I walk in and there's episodes 1 to 4 in my hotel room. So I kind of every day I kind of read the script, and Miguel kind of formed in the hotel room. Like when I would read the lines and I would practice how he would walk or how he would hold himself, I would kind of went a bit mad for 8 days and created Michael, you know. But yeah,
So you went in Jack, you came out Michael. A different
exactly,
man, a different man.
exactly.
And, obviously the cast is quite established, and it's full of wonderful actors. What was it like to join that cast? I mean, I can imagine they're quite well knitted together. So you joining season 2, you being a bloke coming in to, a bunch of wonderful women. I mean, what was that like? I mean, was it intimidating? Did they make you feel welcome? Did you have to do, initiations? What was it
I
like?
wish. No, it was incredibly daunting. It was incredibly daunting, and we were all like in hotel rooms beside each other, like quarantining, and I'd be kind of going, is that them? Like, are they there? But the first time I met everyone was like when we were on our way to stunt training, and just immediate warm welcome, like from Alba, Christina, Lorena, and everybody, and then like Simon was like, we're going for dinner, let's go. He brought me out with like the camera department, like the VFX boys, like everyone. It was an immediate like immersion of love and like everything. So that was so important, I think, for the first, because like you're in a different country and like you're like, I don't know anyone here. I don't know how this is going to go. So to be brought in like that, you kind of go, okay, we're going to do a good job here. There's no ego here. There's no trouble. We're going to do a job. So that was great.
And
Definitely.
you talk about going out for dinner. Is this what this picture is from? I'm not sure.
Oh, oh my God. God's sake, Brian, you're killing me here.
Is
That
that part
was,
of the initiation? I mean,
in
I
a
presume.
manner of speaking, it was. That was, I think Christina took that picture. I think we were just out of isolation or something like that. And we were on the hotel roof. It was like 40 degrees. And we were just so happy to see one another. We were like, let's get some beer, get some food, like get some board games. And I definitely made a fool of myself, as you can see.
Well, you've got to, haven't you? If you're all together, you've got to have a laugh during the pandemic times, and it certainly
Yeah.
looked like you had a laugh. There's a lovely photo here as well. This is obviously the cover of your new album.
Oh, yeah.
It's screaming 80s vibes.
Mm.
You know, it's a fantastic picture, but it just shows how much fun you obviously had off screen as well, which is great to see. And you talked about stunts, you talked about your fight scenes, and it's great to see your character fight the way he does on screen, because you always see these hero being fantastic, but it was lovely. I mean, I think it's scenes with Tristan, where you're fighting with him, and you're doing quite well, but you are getting beaten up a bit, but you keep coming back. I mean, what point do you step back and let your stunt double take over, or did you try and do as much as you could on screen?
I tried to do literally everything. I was like a boy at summer camp, like there's the scene where I have that fight with Vincent on the staircase where he throws me down and I land on the neck and he rolls down. That unfortunately was my stunt double, but I was like, I can do it. I can do it. And they were like, no. So I wanted to do as much as possible, but then like Netflix and insurance were like, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Mm.
So, but it was great to have Mirko, my stunt double, there. Like he would actually say to the directors, he'd say, no, Jack will do it. Like he's capable of doing it. Or he'll say, no, Jack can't do this because of health and safety. So it was great to have that relationship that we could all, like, ego aside, just be like, no, I'm capable of doing it or I'm not, so that was wonderful.
I've got to give a massive shout out to the stunt people, because I've always had a fascination with the stunt community, because they're like the unsung heroes. You know what I mean? There's no Oscars for stuntmen, and there should be. There should be recognition. I know they've got the Tourist Awards for the stunt community, and in this show, the stunts are just incredible. The fight scenes are incredible. It's just off the charts. It really, really is. So what's been your favourite thing about playing Miguel and Michael?
The leather jacket, maybe. That was a winner. I really enjoyed that one. I think it was so refreshing to see a male on camera who wasn't just shoved in as a love interest, wasn't kind of, put in to like disrupt Avatrice, that he had a voice and he had a genuine platonic relationship with Ava, and like there was no weirdness about it, and like he's a very sensitive young man. Like in the second season when we see him, like the last time we saw him he was a young boy, and he lost his mother for 14 years. So like there is that sensitivity to him, and like that was really nice to tap into, like as opposed to like the macho kind of no emotion cowboy thing. Like he was a man. Take him for all in all,
And what I like about the show is that there's no small character. Everyone is on equal pegging, and that's just, a massive nod to the writers. And it's just great because the ensemble of cast is just, everyone's got their own stories, and Olivia's story we explore more as well this season, which is great. So it's something for everyone, and I'm sure it was such a laugh on set. Did anything go wrong? Are we going to expect any bloopers from season 2?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And it's going to be me, because that was technically my first speaking role on camera. I did a small gig before, but that was like my first thing. So I was very much adapting to the way things were working. So I'd be in the middle of a scene, and I like coming from the theater background, like you got to finish it. Like you got to get through the whole page. And I'd lose a line, and I'd start cursing and blinding, and I go, no, I'm sorry, I'll do it again, I'm sorry. Yeah, and they're like, just do it again, just like stop and do it again. And I'm going, oh, you can do that? So it's going to be me doing that. Me and Christina and Alba probably just punching me, just laughing. I think they actually had to take out a scene. I think it's a scene where we're getting ready to go to Adriel's realm, or the convention thing. And I walk over, and it's very serious. We're all preparing the guns. And I go over to Christina, and I stick my finger in her ear because I didn't see the camera. And somebody came up and was like, we can't use that now. Like, you stuck your finger in her ear. And I was like, sorry, it's all right. But I remember this scene where I have like that Batman moment where I throw Vincent on the stairs and he flips back. They had this massive camera with this incredible lens, and he just completely broke the camera. And when he flipped back, the tip of his shoe just knocked the lens off, and everyone was like, oh my God.
And they're not cheap. They're not cheap lenses. No.
I was like, here's my resignation. I apologize to everyone. I just like, I can't express. It feels like a dream. Like it was just 5 months of constant love and laughter, and and you said it earlier, like this show, like from the head actor to the head writer to the people who, in the catering truck, everybody had a part to play. Everybody made the show what it was. But I'm going to do it again. I would be remiss if I did not say the stunt team. I felt so safe as an actor in my performance, in my energy and everything when those guys were around. It was like, it's like having a safety net. Constant. It was wonderful.
And I've got to say, your accent in it is awesome. No one would have known that you're Irish. So,
do you think so?
Yeah, it was awesome. How easy is it to get rid of your accent? When you're working on a show like this.
It was a funny thing, because when the audition came through, it said light RP accent. So I was like, what is a light RP accent? So I did that Michael voice in the audition. They obviously liked it, and then I did it again with Simon and the Zoom call, and I was like, do you want me to do that, or do you want me to like imitate Michael from the first season, or maybe imitate Tekla?" And they were like, "No." They were like, do what you did." So I kind of did like a soft London accent in and around, because it was like, you'd believe that, like, being on the other side, obviously all the angels speak RP and all this kind of stuff, that he would pick up something. But I think I've a little bit of an ear for it, accents in general. I'm doing a film at the moment now, and I have to do a Donegal accent, and it's a bit difficult.
Is it?
But I'll get there. No, it's grand. It's because it's so close to home. Like, I spent my summers up in Derry, which is right beside Donegal, so the accent is very specific, and if I don't get it right, they'll never forgive me.
You know what? If only Rhea was, I know, Irish, you could have got away with coming back with an Irish accent.
Can you imagine? She should be.
There
God
we
is
go.
Irish.
Yeah. But thing is Rhea good? I think we don't know. It's one of those things. She looks good, She looks, angelic, but you never know. It could be a wolf in sheep's clothing. So, what's been your favourite moment out of the whole season that will always stick with you?
Oh, wow. God, so many. I think the first thing that comes to mind is the church fight. Like, that was just so ambitious, and like the one take and the Texas switches and everything like that. That was a lot of fun. Like, that was like a 3-week shoot of just night shoots leading up to the church fight, and afterwards. So it was like we were all in the trenches together for that shoot,
Wow.
and I had a lot of time there. But like the scenes with Tristan, like even that fight scene, I learned so much from him as an actor. The scenes with Tekla, like, and then obviously, my buddies Ava and Beatrice, like those scenes in the car, where we just couldn't take it seriously because we were just laughing so much, Oh my God, like, I don't think I had one bad day on this shoot. I really do mean that, Yeah. I've such fond love for everyone in that show.
And did you keep anything from the show? Did you manage to liberate any sort of mementos of any sorts?
I might get in trouble here. Yes and no. I mean, they were like, no, don't touch anything because season 3 is coming.
Is it?
Is it?
Oh, you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful. Like, the fans now are screaming at the screen going, exactly. Jack's just said season 3 is coming. Do you know what? No, it is a no-brainer. If we don't get a season 3, literally everyone high up in Netflix should resign and move to Crackle or another streaming site. I don't know.
It was, like, basically they said that at the end of season 2, they were like, don't touch anything just in case we get renewed and blah, blah, blah. So I took like a little necklace. That was about it, just as a little momentum. But no, they were like very much so like, let's keep going. Let's fight for season 3, Like, the fans, I can't thank them enough for everything they're doing. Like, and it's amazing. Like, they're obviously doing it for a reason. Like, representation matters in this business, in this world, and we are showing that in this show, that it's normal, that it's the norm. Like, this is what it is. We don't have to force any love stories. This is two people who genuinely love each other, and it's flourishing, and it's amazing to see that. It's amazing to see a female-led show taking on the church, to see women of color and all this kind of stuff in the forefront is fantastic, And I'm in the background, like, I'll just take the stairs. Like, it's cool. I'm just happy to be there.
And it is all natural, as you said. Nothing's pushed on screen, because I know the first season it got criticised for, I think the term is gay baiting, you know, and I think it's ridiculous because it's a beautiful story and the way it's done is fantastic, and I can't wait till my girls are old enough to watch shows like Warrior Nun, because, you know, I want them to grow up seeing these sort of characters in such a beautiful way that it'll inspire them, you know, and we need more of that. We really do. We really
It's
do.
like the numbers don't lie.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? We're breaking records because of the girls and the incredible stuff they are producing and the writing and all this kind of stuff. These people are out there like these wonderful fans. They're so funny. Like I've seen some of the girls send me the stuff on Twitter, like what they're saying about us, and it is the funniest stuff ever, you know. But the numbers don't lie, and I think it's so inspiring. I'm so inspired by the fans and by my castmates, you know, constantly.
And if they asked you, because anything could happen in Warrior Nun, if they asked you to come back for season 3, what would your answer be?
100%. 100% for the Great War.
Yes, it's coming. It is. It is. And it left us on such a cliffhanger. And I hate it when shows leave you on a cliffhanger with the uncertainty of knowing the story, but I am sure it will. One of my last questions that I ask all my guests is, if your life was a movie, Jack, what title would it have?
Oh my God. If my life was a movie, what would the title be? Slippery Slope. No. I think it would be something like, I don't know, Jack in the Box, something very benign.
No, that's good. That is good. I've had some unusual ones, I really have. But Jack, you've been a great guest. It's been an honour for you to come on this show, and you know, let's wish for season 3. Thank you so much for your part in season 2. You know, it's been great to escape, and it's just been absolutely wonderful for the fans to have a wonderful show at last on our screen. So thank you, Jack. Keep safe and stay super, my friend.
See you soon.